Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
Hi guys, welcome back to Life of Education's podcast. It's been quite a while, and now we find ourselves towards the end of April in lockdown with COVID-19. So Caroline and I have taken to our first Zoom podcast, and for those watching, for those listening, I hope the audio is okay. So let's give this a go. Today we're with Taco Fleur, and Taco is a world-renowned kettlebell teacher, trainer, kettlebell instructor. It's our first practical course on the site, so we've got now an actual one where you can go learn how to move with a tool in the gym. So Taco, I'll let you expand on that if you want to introduce yourself and tell us where you are in the world at the moment.
Okay. Yes, at the moment I'm in Italy. We moved here about January the 1st, and we're on lockdown, as everybody knows. As for myself, I've been into kettlebells for over a decade. Absolutely love it. It's the best tool you can work with. That's my opinion anyway. And yeah, I just have a big passion for kettlebells. I keep learning more and more about it, all the things that you can do, and I love sharing it with people.
Yeah, how did you get into kettlebells?
Yeah.
How did I get into kettlebells? My wife, she's Australian. I lived in Australia.
That.
Yeah.
I was listening to you guys on your YouTube channel. I was like, yes, a fellow Aussie.
Yeah. Brisbane. So anyway, yeah, so when we moved there, when we had our son, which is about 19 years ago now, geez, time flies. 19 years ago, we moved to Australia. And when we got there, my wife was always into fitness, and I'm a bit of an entrepreneur. So I helped her set up like a boot camp type of thing back then. And while she was doing that, she had kettlebells and all that, and I saw those things, and I liked them, but we didn't do much with them yet. But then we started opening up a gym. We had 2 gyms in Australia, and we hired some trainers, and some of these trainers inspired us to do a lot more. And from there, when you have your gym, it's sort of like we lived in it, and we just had the time to explore the kettlebell more. So from there on, it just grew and grew, and I wanted to share the passion that I had for the kettlebell. And ever since, I just been exploring it, all the things you can do with it: strength, cardio, endurance, mental toughness, flexibility. It's endless, really. So yeah, that's how it started back in Australia.
And I have a question for you. I know when we were off air, we were talking briefly, but can you please tell me what's it like being in Italy right now? I know the whole COVID-19 crisis, everyone's kind of getting a little bit over talking about it and over being stuck in the house, but I'm just curious, what's it like over there?
It's not fun. It's not fun at all. I wake up and both my wife and I, we look outside to see if the world is still there in the morning, It's like sometimes I have to punch myself to actually see if this is a dream or not. I'm actually like, what is this? It's like a sci-fi movie. I'm just like, this can't be true, We're locked inside. How can this be? The whole world, it just doesn't make sense. So many questions. But the moment you start asking questions, everybody around you goes nuts and says, you're a conspiracy theorist, and you just shut up and just stay inside because it's for the best of everybody. And I guess that's what you do after a while. You shut up and you just stay inside.
Do you know one thing that I agree with you? It's a little bit scary to see that a different opinion is no longer allowed. But I think people should encourage people to have a conversation about, okay, well, like, we're trying this strategy. and this is what it's like for everybody right now, but it's okay to talk about our opinions and what other strategies are. Like, are you guys actually allowed to leave? Because I noticed when I was watching some of your YouTube videos, which are great, like the YouTube workouts that you're doing for the community, you guys are doing them just outside, right? So you're allowed to go out.
We're allowed to go outside the house, and we're lucky that we're staying with the real estate. Like, that's a long story too, really funny story. We're actually staying with the real estate that helped us out, and he's got a big property. So when you see us outside, it's just on his property, basically, just outside where we're living. We're just like
a closed-in area.
Yes. It's like his garden, basically. So yeah, we're quite lucky. I can't imagine people that have a studio or something and they need to stay inside the studio this whole time. I wouldn't be able to do it. I would rebel.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
What part of Italy are you in?
Sorry?
What part of Italy? Are you up north or you down south?
Up north, La Spezia. So more, I think south is down where the boot is. The boot is the bottom, I think. And we're more at the top, just 300 kilometers away from Rome.
And you said you just moved there in January?
Yes, that's right.
Where had you been before that?
Good timing.
Yeah.
Where have we been before that? Before that, we were in Holland, and we just came back from the US, and we ran some workshops and all that. And before that, we were in Spain. Yeah, basically in Spain, we stayed there for 4 years, and we said it's time to move. Like, we're gypsies, basically. We like to explore the world. We're like, we only got one life, and there's so much out there to explore. So we want to see all the countries. Like, we had a whole list of countries that we were going to go through, but a lot happened along the way, like so many things. And now so now we're stuck basically for a while.
And do you, what I was trying to get to, do you carry your kettlebells with you everywhere? Like,
if we can, yes. Like, if we travel by car, we definitely take kettlebells. So last year we went to the US for a couple of months, and we just buy kettlebells there. We always need to have kettlebells. We can't be anywhere without kettlebells.
Yeah.
Cool. So Taco, I know we wanted to have this podcast with you because we really wanted to talk about your courses and kettlebells, but I actually want to pick your brain a little bit about something else. So considering that you're such an influential person in the fitness industry, what do you say to people in this time right now? As fitness professionals, as fitness enthusiasts, how can people get through this, especially in terms of mental health, in terms of their business, in terms of their own physical fitness? What are some of the strategies that you're using, and what advice would you have for people that are in this COVID-19 thing?
Well, first of all, you got to stay positive. It's very hard, but the main thing is your mental, where you are with your mental level. Like, if you wake up every morning and you're not happy, then that flows through and everything else in your body. So that's number one. You got to stay positive. Personally, I do what I always do, and that's having cold showers, drinking a lemon. Sorry?
A little bit of Wim Hof technique there?
Yeah. You could. I took cold showers before it was the Wim Hof technique, but yeah, I've always believed in cold showers. But yeah, I wake up in the morning and I take a lemon, half lemon, with hot water and some honey sometimes, and ginger, just all that stuff that a lot of people have forgotten about, I believe. Because everybody these days just wants to pop a pill, you know. Oh, your immune system is down, just pop a pill, you know, or take an injection. But all these things, they take an effort. You got to look at what you're eating. You got to pay attention to how you feel. like your body tells you things, you know, like if you're lacking something, there are signs that your body will display, like black marks on the eyes, or fingernails that don't look right. So many other things that you can look at, even your stool, you know, like people don't like to talk about it, but your stool, like your poop, it tells you a lot about what you eat and how your digestion is. So these are all things that people forget about. But anyway, to get back to the point, you need to look at your insides first, your health, your mental health, and then after that comes fitness. You got to stay active and work on flexibility, range of motion, strength, endurance. These are all the things we work on, and we just try and stay fit. And as a fitness professional, I think in these times we need to share ideas and give away a lot more. Like I've always been giving away a lot. It actually started out as just all wanting to be free, but I found that people didn't trust it and don't value it as much if you give things away for free. So you had to put a price on it, and the higher it is, the more they value it. So, but besides that, at the moment, I always say, you know, here is something that you can buy, a course, but if you don't have the money, contact me and I'll give it to you for free. Doesn't bother me, you know. I like to share with people. I want to help people get into kettlebells, basically.
Yeah, that's one of the things when I was scrolling through your YouTube channel, I noticed that you had so many followers. Like your subscribers are like 50,000 people. It's crazy. And that you guys were so generous with your time and with the instruction. And I loved like seeing you guys get really up close to the screen and then saying hello to every single person that was popping up. Like that was really nice to see that, especially because it gives people a sense of like connection and like, you know, we're all in this together, we're here. So what would your advice be to business fitness owners during this time? Like, what are you guys doing for your business? How are you guys staying afloat?
We're not doing anything different in regards to the business, really. Like it's gone down, the sales, that's for sure. Like we used to live off Amazon sales. And they've gone down drastically, and a lot of other stuff happened there. Like advertising costs increased, but the sales have gone down. But yeah, your question is, what do I recommend for the business? I don't know, because I haven't really changed anything. We're just doing the same thing, and we're just sitting it out, really. That's all I want to do. I don't want to be like the other people and take advantage of this whole situation. I don't feel right about that. I don't even want to use the words COVID-19 or virus. I don't want to write them down. You know, you see all these other fitness instructors, oh, get your COVID-19 program or this or that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be part of it, basically.
That's good. I like that. That's quite honest of you, to be fair. Like, I think what I've noticed on social media is now everybody, all of the trainers, because my day job is to work as a trainer. I have a PT company and a coaching company in Dubai, as well as a life of education. So keeping an ear to the ground and watching what the industry are doing, everybody quickly jumps onto their balcony or onto the living room, starts giving, here's what you need to do when you're in isolation. And I always wonder, like, who's the one that's speaking from an expertise of experience? You know, like nobody's been in this position before. How does anybody know what you're supposed to do? I think it's very honest of you just to simply say, look, I don't know what to do. Like, you guys are just writing it out. Me and my guys, we've made some changes, but primarily we're just writing it out. You know, we're just sitting back, and we've not suddenly scurried to the online world and like pushing stuff out and selling this subscription and selling that. It's just like, okay, well, this storm has blown in. Let's hunker down. Let's protect what's really important for us. And then hopefully when the storm passes and we step out back into the real world, we look around and things are still the way we hope they will be. And we can continue to kind of fly our flag and do our trade at that stage. So anyway, I don't want to hijack the chat.
I don't think it will ever go back to normal again after this, though. I think
I agree.
You know,
I agree.
nothing's going to be normal the way we expected, the way it was before. It's just, I don't see it happening, which is really sad.
Look, I do too, but then at the same time, I also feel like as a society and as a whole, we've moved so quickly in one direction without opening our eyes to what we're actually doing. I think everyone's just been like a little rat race, just going on and on and on. And all of a sudden, everyone was traveling and everything was going from one place of the world to the other place. And we didn't really see what we were doing to the environment or to the animals or to anything like that. So I hope, my hope is that this is a bit of a slap in the face to all of us to, okay, we actually can't treat animals this way. Maybe we've been very negligent in how we all interact and communicate. So hopefully this is kind of like a little bit of a change that we need. So yeah, I agree with you. I don't think things are going to be the same, but hopefully we can elevate our consciousness to, okay, things are going to be different in a better way. That's the hope, my hope anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you on that. I hope a lot of people wake up and realize that a lot of animals feel like this, sitting inside.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You know,
And don't fucking eat bats.
a lot of people are like, oh, the Chinese, they're eating bats, this and that, and look at how they treat the people. Yeah, I don't like seeing that. But, you know, do you really think it's so much different if you eat meat in the Western world? The only difference is you don't see what's happening. You just don't see what's happening, and because it's behind closed doors. But it might be even worse, you know? Like these animals here, they're locked up. They're locked up for ages, and then they're being brought to the slaughter. You just don't see it. Somebody else does it for you, and that's the difference. Now, I'm a bit of a hypocrite because I'm not a vegetarian, you know, completely. But I tell you what, I've definitely cut down on my meat for a while already. Like from maybe I eat meat once a week now, you know, and that's rare. And still, I feel bad about it. But I'm not saying everybody should become a vegetarian. Everybody has their own choice. What I am saying is that we should look after the animals and show them a bit more respect.
I agree.
During their life. And I don't believe in all this big factory, big corporations, money, money, money. I don't believe in that. And that's really a big issue because all the farming and all that is just about money, money, money. Big, quick, 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 as much as possible, as cheap as possible. But I wish we could go back to just being local farms, you know, where families care about the land, care about the food. And they all say, oh, it's not possible because there's not enough land. I don't believe in that. I don't believe it.
Okay, I've got a question for you. Tell me what you've learned from the last, like, however long you've been in lockdown. Tell me what you've learned from this whole situation and this whole crisis.
That I have a lot of friends on my timeline that I need to get rid of. Yes. What else have I learned? I don't know. Yeah, that is the first thing that comes to my mind.
So why would you get rid of them? Just for peace of mind? Like what's the motivation
that I feel like they're so deep into something that is so like that they're not seeing where this is going, you know?
Okay, so then answer this. Where do you think this is going?
Where do I think this is going? Oh, that's a hard one. More surveillance.
Yeah.
More surveillance, that's number one. And everybody says that's a good thing because you can be safe, this and that, but it's not going to just be used for that eventually, you know? Okay, maybe the next 10 years, but there are going to be laws that you don't agree with, you know? And then they can catch you just like that. I don't know how to...
Have you ever read George Orwell, 1984?
No, I have not.
If you're into this stuff, you should read George Orwell. It's a classic. but it's very similar.
Does it sort of describe where we're heading to? Because that's what I see people saying.
Yeah, it's a book written in like the early 20th century. George Orwell was predicting what life would be like in 1984, and he split the world into like Eurasia, I think it's Oceania, and then like another continent, figuratively being the US. And there's a war going on in the distance that you just have reference to. But in the state that the character is in, it's heavy on the surveillance. It's heavy on the thought police. You're not allowed to think a certain way. And if you speak a certain way, then you end up going to this magical place, which is no longer a feature in the book. And then it kind of, it's where the idea of the thought police comes. And like, it's a very inspiring book when you read it now, but also
it's very scary.
Yeah, I mean, actually now it's probably near 100 years old now. He wrote it a long time ago where he saw where the world was going. So very, very, read it when you're in a good mood, because the end of it gets pretty tough to read. I'll just say that.
Yeah. But look, Taco, in saying that, something that I feel is a bit of our responsibility as our generation is to make sure that we continue to have these types of conversations. Because because I feel like with you, when I watch your mannerisms, you feel like you're almost a little bit like, I've given up. Like, this is what's going to happen. Everyone's going to surveil us. Okay. But it's like, we can still have these conversations. We can still say no to being implanted with things. Look, who knows? Maybe not. But we can still have an intellectual conversation about whether or not we want to move into this direction. I know Keith is like looking at me like, stop talking about that.
No, I love this. I happily talk about this all day. I don't mind. The thing I always worry about when these chats are like, I just don't know if we have enough information to really formulate our own opinions. Do you know? Like, I love listening to you, Taco, and I like listening to you, Caroline, and I'm absorbing it. I'm paying a lot of attention personally I'm in my parents' place at the moment. I've been locked out of the UAE with the borders. So I'm watching the news with my dad here, and I'm paying a lot of attention to what's happening in the States with them protesting the lockdown. I think that's a very interesting strategy. I think it's going to be very interesting to see what happens when a population refuses to go indoors and stay like suppressed almost. I think history needs to see what happens when that strategy is taken. I think if a year's time, COVID-19 comes back, or COVID-20, whatever, comes back again, and the government clamp down on everybody again, it's useful to have what's happening in the States happen now, because at that point you can say, well, like New Zealand shut down early and they've suppressed the spread. Great. But can they do that twice or three more times in their economy? What happens if they all protest? Well, we're seeing what's happening in the States unfold now slowly. So,
or Sweden, who didn't even lock down at all. They're just chilling and herd mentality, like just going out there. Like,
yeah, like who knows what the best way to do this? But I think it's very interesting. And my point is, I love listening to people like you guys just talk. It's just like, I didn't look at it that way, or I didn't look at it that way.
Yeah.
I'm listening.
It'd be great if everybody just opened up a bit more. But everybody immediately is like, now this is the way it is. You're a conspiracy theorist. And conspiracy theorists, you know, it's been associated with madness, basically. But if you really think about what it really means, it just means that you're questioning things, you know, and that there could be some people that want to do something that isn't good. Whatever that is, you know.
I tend to agree with you as well. Like I have been in like health science and all of that. I have a background in that. I don't necessarily think that all of these lockdowns are a great idea either. I'm just going to put it out there. Just looking at what it's doing to people's mental health, to job security, to the other facets of their life. Yes, they're not getting COVID-19, but they're losing their jobs, and they're losing their mental health, and they're losing their freedom, and they're losing their sanity and everything else that comes along with a social construct. So does that outweigh like getting a flu-like virus? I don't think so. And if we're doing it for COVID-19, why haven't we done this for Ebola and for AIDS and for malaria and for the flu and for every other virus that comes
Exactly.
along. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like, oh, is this the right approach? I don't know. I don't think any of us know, but are we still allowed to have the conversation? I think we should. And I think you and me and Keith, we should all be brave enough to still have a conversation about this, rather than like, oh, okay, I'm in a police state. I can't say anything anymore, even if I have a different opinion, because where does that take us to next? So that's just my opinion on it. But I just wanted to go back onto this. What have you learned from this whole experience as a fitness professional, as a business owner, as someone that's currently living in Italy? What have you learned aside from blocking people on Facebook?
What have I learned? I don't think I've learned anything. I can't think of anything.
How do you feel you've been best prepared for this?
Hold on. It says, thank you for using Zoom here. Does that mean we're disconnected?
No. I think it's just given us an extra time limit. So I think it's lifted the pressure of our cap. So how I would look at someone like you.
Sorry, what'd you say?
So I was going to ask you, how do you think you have been better prepared to endure this lockdown than most people? Things like your YouTube channel, I assume, must be generating you some revenue. You've got a lot of stuff online that you're selling on Amazon, like you mentioned. You've got the advantage of you've got a great piece of equipment that you can take anywhere with you, that you can stress your body in a healthy, happy way with your kettlebells. And then, you don't need a lot of space. So you don't need to go to the gym, a barbell. You're not a dumbbell. You're not a CrossFitter. Like, how else would you think? Is it fair to say that that's getting you through? And then plus kind of your Wim Hof and your other, do you meditate?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I tell you what we're doing more. That's more focusing on creating more content. Like we're doing even more workouts now just to stay busy. We're also creating more content. Like we've just sat down and said, all right, what are some of the courses that we can create? All right, let's do it. So every day we're busy just filming, cutting, editing, writing. I guess that's the only thing that's changed for us. I haven't changed anything else. I really haven't learned anything other than that. There's a lot of media sheep out there. Other than that, I haven't learned anything.
And do you do all the editing and kind of the graphics?
What have you guys learned? Yes. I do all the editing myself.
Yes.
Keith, do you want to answer that question first? What have you learned?
What have I learned? I mean, there's a lot of benefit to having those mental health practices. Like having that, whether you meditate every day or not, or whether you listen to a certain mantra or a story or whatever it is every day, is not really what the important thing. The important thing is that you have a strategy that you can grab onto. So whether it's exercise, what I've learned is it's easy to exercise in your house. It's easy. It's way easier. The reward is so valuable compared to, for me anyway, how my like neurology and how my internal system feels when I haven't exercised. And up until 6 weeks ago, I remember maybe 7 weeks ago, I had a conversation with a client and I said, home workouts are not the thing. Your home is your nest. Your home is your little safe space, your zone. You're relaxed where you want to go home and you want to just sit on the couch and forget everything and just lock yourself away from the world. And you want to eat, sleep, rest, and recover. And that was my genuine long-term philosophy on home exercises and blah, blah, blah. I was like, look, home is just where you relax. Outdoors is where you exercise, gym, yoga studio, whatever. Scrap all that. Scrap all of that.
Okay.
The benefit now of a 30-minute blaster, like just whatever it is you want to do, whatever you like doing, you don't need equipment. You can do 1,000 squats. When you sit down after and it's 31 minutes on the clock, the return on that investment is enormous. And that's one thing I've learned. I think now what people are going to take is, I don't think people are going to run away from a gym or from a yoga studio. But what you're going to find is when people are buried in work, they're traveling for their job, or they're stuck in a hotel, you know, in their normal 9 to 5 life, they have this inbuilt intrinsic memory of what it is to exercise at home and the reward that they get. I think you're going to get people slipping off, maybe in the short term, maybe not medium, long term. It might go back to the way it was. But I think people understanding now how easy it is to roll a mat out, do a load of squats, push-ups, sit-ups, twists, turns, sitting on the couch after going, that's amazing. And it only took 35 minutes, and now I'm back to my other job. Or people with kids, let me get up half an hour before the kids wake up and let me bash out a session. I think that's going to be really, really good memory for people to have post sort of isolation and lockdown.
Absolutely.
I think that feeds into what you've got as well.
Nice one.
Because I don't have any kits. I'm in my parents' place. Like I said, I have a mat on the floor that's I found upstairs. If I was to now invest in some equipment, I wouldn't go buying a set of dumbbells. I think your kettlebells are your most versatile piece of equipment from almost every angle. They don't take up too much space in storage. You can stick them under the bed or under the couch, you know, or in the floor of your cupboard while you're not training. Drag them out. There's almost zero space you need. A little bit of space in front and behind you, side to side. You know, you don't need to move your furniture around. You don't need to lay out mats and floor stuff. And then what can't you do with a kettlebell?
Everything that you can do with a dumbbell, everything you can do with a barbell. Yeah, for me, the most perfect combination is a bar for pull-ups and a kettlebell. That's all I would ever need.
And do you have a whole set of different weights?
But, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But I'm still interested to hear what Caroline has learned.
Okay. I have fundamentally learned probably two things. The first is that I think everyone's predominantly very social, and being connected to my friends and to my family has helped me stay like really productive and busy, and that keeps me feeling like I'm moving in a direction. So that's probably the first connection, having real connection with my family and with my friends and making sure that I'm talking to them. And then the other one is like, I am really cautious about where our whole society is moving to in the future. And this is why I think it's really important that we value the freedom that we have currently. And yes, we have a device that's with us all the time and that people can listen to and can track and everything. But at the same time, our generation is probably the last one that really has a lot of freedom without facial recognition and tracking in your car and like all of this stuff. And I think that element of freedom and freedom of speech is something that we really need to hold on to, and we really need to defend, because as we start to get even more global and even more interconnected, they're probably the things that look how much happiness we get off. Do you know what? Fuck my phone. I'm going to go to the beach, or I'm going to go outside, or I'm going to go for a walk, or I'm going to do what I want with my life as opposed to what I'm told I need to do. And although this time currently is a little bit different, but what I've learned from this time, especially like now, is that that is something that we need to defend even more so. Like, yes, no government knows what they're doing right now. Everyone's just like, it's almost like, oh, one government went onto lockdown, we're going to go into lockdown, this is what all the scientists are telling us. But the truth is that no one really knows what the right approach is. They don't know if herd immunity is the right thing, or to go into lockdown is the right thing, or what the right approach is. So we're all just experimenting. So the fact that we need to have a conversation that we keep alive about, okay, I respect your opinion. Can you be open-minded enough to hear me out and respect my opinion? So look, I think that's something that I'm learning now is even more valuable than what it was 10 years ago. And something that I was talking to my friend about recently, I remember in 2000, I was still living in Australia, in Sydney, and we were about to go to war with Iraq. and Australia was about to go to war. And I remember over 1 million people in the streets of Sydney, and me and my little sister were there. We were wearing anti-war t-shirts, and we went out and paraded into the streets. And I remember over 1 million people, we had a huge like vote on it, and we still went to war. So in the back of my mind, I have this thing like, they're going to do what they want anyway. So what the hell is the point? But then there's a little part of me that's like, no, we can't ever give up the ability to fight for what we think is right. And back then I still thought that we shouldn't have gone to war with Iraq. And right now I still think, look, I don't know if what they're doing is right, but I'm going to defend my right to have speech and to speak and to speak my opinion, irrespective of what people think. So I think that's what I've learned now, that I don't want to be a coward to other people's opinions and kind of hide behind, oh, okay, like this is what we need to do. I just need to not say anything. Yeah. It's kind of like, did I get way too political just there? Sorry.
I agree with you. You need to, like, one of the things people don't do enough of in just general world is they don't just sit and listen to the other side, you know? So like, you can sit and watch your news and you can follow what your news is saying. This many deaths, this is the plan, this is the plan, this is the plan. But then, like, you don't have to go deep into your conspiracy theories to start to listen to the other side. The people who are like, well, why don't we defend the economy? Why don't we defend our choice? Why don't we decide if we want to take the risk and step outside, you know? And you don't have to, just listening to it doesn't mean you have to buy into it or you don't have to agree with it. But it's like what you just described. Somebody needs to say their view and other people need to listen. You go, half of that is a good idea. The other half, maybe not. Maybe this is good. Maybe that's good. And then everybody, the better ideas kind of float to the top once people give it enough time. So, yeah.
You know, sorry to interrupt. You know how I treat this as well, this whole situation, like a kettlebell, really, because a lot of people always say, oh, I'm biased. And, you know, I just like the kettlebell, so that's all I recommend. But it's not like that, because I work with the barbell, I work with the dumbbell, I work with anything that I can find, and I try it all. And I research it all. You know, it's not just like I stick to the kettlebell. This whole situation I treat the same way. I don't just go and look at these conspiracy theories. I look at every side, all sides. I listen to it. I sit there for an hour looking at this. I sit there for an hour looking at that. And when I watch one of these conspiracy, what they call conspiracy theory videos, I don't agree with all of it. But, you know, as soon as I post it up, they're like, oh, you're crazy. But you're not even engaging a conversation with me on what I think is correct from that video. Because I don't agree with the whole video. I might agree with a part of it, you know?
Yeah.
Another thing I wanted to say is like, everybody's always like, oh, why are you so worried about being tracked? You're already being tracked with your phone and all that. This is right. They can do whatever they want with the phone, I'm pretty sure. But that's a choice, whether you carry that phone or not in your pocket. You can leave it at home and move away. So that's a choice. But as soon as we're talking about implants and all that stuff, you don't have a choice anymore. That's it. Rant over.
Yeah.
It's a good rant. It's a really good rant. I agree with you as well. I want to be able to have the choice. I don't want to not be allowed a choice whether I have something inserted into my body or not. That's not right. Anyway, so before we get too political, I think maybe we should wrap this up. So Taco, I have had the pleasure of watching all of your videos as we were putting them up onto a Life of Education. And it's really such a pleasure to speak to you and to get to know you properly. We were watching your YouTube videos and you guys are just, you and Anna, such lovely people and really like very lovely to see what you guys are doing on YouTube and how you're connecting with people. So I'm so excited to have your course on our platform. And I know Keith is as well. He was watching all your kettlebell stuff as well.
Yeah.
So
I definitely am.
Thank you.
I am like, I use a kettlebell every now and again. My thing is mainly injury rehab, like that low level, patch people up and then send them off to a strength conditioning coach. So the kettlebells are there. I use them every now and again, but looking at some of your movement patterns, I'm like, never looked at that one that you would twist and raise your hand over your head, do a side flexion and a rotation. Brilliant. You know, I won't be giving that to people with 16 kilos, but I'll be giving that to people with a 2 kilo or a 4 kilo, you know, because I want to connect them. And I know,
absolutely, yeah.
I know their movement patterns. They have never, ever done that before. And body weight, that twist is going to do one thing, but sticking a weight in their hand is going to light them up from a whole other perspective. So just watching your courses turned, I won't become a kettlebell diehard like you, but I'll be like, brilliant, I'll take that. That's going to go in the mental locker. That one will come out as well. So I think the Kettlebell Complex's videos that you did are amazing. I really enjoyed them. There's so much good stimulus for creation there, you know. And the best thing is you don't need any space. Like I would consider now, when we get out of COVID-19, everyone's back in the gym, and people say, what happens if a second wave come? I'd be like, listen, guys, go down, buy some kettlebells, put them under your bed. We'll come back to it. If this happens again, we'll come back to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll be prepared next time. Gym equipment under bed.
A lot of people are finding it hard to get kettlebells now. Like everybody's rushing to get their kettlebells in, but most of the businesses are sold out of kettlebells. I guess that's a good thing, you know, that people are now looking into kettlebells. Yeah, that's the one positive thing. Let's hope there's other positives that we get out of it.
Yeah.
There will be. There definitely will be.
Taco, where can people fall in line? Where can they get your stuff? Where can they catch up with you on YouTube and social media and stuff? What are your handles?
The store they can find at www.cavemantraining.com/shop. Then on YouTube, it's just youtube.com/cavemantraining. On Instagram, it's instagram.com/real-cavemantraining. Real because somebody else has got the Caveman Training username already. And on Facebook, we've got some of the biggest groups for kettlebell training. So if you just type in kettlebell training in the search, the biggest group is 14,000 plus members. We own that. And kettlebell workout, 8,000 people. And there's also a CrossFit group that we run, and MMA, BJJ group. They all got tens of thousands of people in it. Perfect. So people can join that and say hello, ask questions. And it's always nice to hear somebody pop by and say, hey, I saw you here or there, and I've got this question. So always tag me, feel free. I'm not a different person than anybody else. I'm just down to earth, and that's it. Say hello.
Do you have any plans to travel to Dubai in your travel plans?
I don't have any travel plans, but we go anywhere where there is a need for workshops or certifications. Basically, like if there's people that make it worthwhile, as in there's enough people to pay for the trip, etc., then we'll be there wherever it is.
Awesome. Well,
amazing. So hopefully once all of this is done, we'll see you here soon in Dubai one day.
Yeah, we'll meet in person and we'll have another chat.
I'm looking forward to it. And maybe we'll meet somewhere else and walk a mountain with a kettlebell or something adventurous.
Well, Caroline, she enjoys walking mountains, so that's not a bad.
I'm a mountain climber.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. That's awesome. Nothing better than that.
Brilliant. Okay, well, let's hopefully meet in person someday. Wish you all the best and good luck with Italy and everything that's happening there. Stay safe.
Yeah, you guys too. Thanks for inviting me. See you later.
Cheers, Taco.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.